What if the salad you're eating right now, the one you thought was saving your heart, is actually pushing you closer to a hospital bed? I'm Dr. Thomas, a cardiologist with 30 years of experience, and I've seen it happen too many times. You're over 60, proud of your healthy habits, doing everything you've been told to keep your heart strong. Yet, hidden in your fridge, in that heart-healthy grocery bag, are vegetables that could be silently betraying you. Not because they are bad, but because your body after 60 plays by a different set of rules. Welcome to my story, a story about Clara, a vibrant 68-year-old who nearly lost everything because of a simple spinach salad. This is for you, the heroes of living fully after 50, who refuse to let age dim your light. Stick with me, because what I'm about to share could change how you eat, how you live, and how you protect the heart that's carried you through a lifetime of love and loss. A shocking moment in my clinic. It was a chilly November morning in Atlanta, 2015, when Clara Thompson walked into my cardiology clinic. At 68, Clara was the picture of vitality, a retired librarian with a quick laugh, a love for gardening, and a fierce determination to stay healthy for her grandkids. But that day, her eyes were shadowed with fear. "Dr. Thomas," she whispered, gripping my hand, "I passed out last week. Just dropped right in my kitchen. I'm scared I'm running out of time." Her voice cracked, and I felt it, the raw, unspoken terror that haunts so many of you watching, the fear that your body, the one that's carried you through decades, might be slipping out of your control. Clara had been diagnosed with atrial fibrillation 5 years earlier, and she was diligent about her blood thinners and daily walks. She ate salads, avoided fried foods, and even blended green smoothies every morning. "I'm doing everything right, aren't I?" she asked, her voice pleading for reassurance. But as we dug into her story, I uncovered a truth that shocked her and might shock you. The very foods she thought were protecting her heart were putting it in danger. Over the next hour, I helped Clara unravel the mystery of her fainting spell, and I'm going to share that journey with you, along with the 9 vegetables that could be quietly harming your heart after 60, and what you should eat instead. If you're watching this and feeling a pang of worry or maybe a spark of hope, type 1 in the comments to let me know you're with me. If you're skeptical, type 0, and I'll do my best to convince you. This is Living Fully After 50, and we're here to face the truth together, one bite at a time. 1. Spinach, the green hero that turned villain. Clara's story began with her beloved spinach salads. Every day, she'd pile her plate with fresh spinach leaves, toss in some cherry tomatoes, and drizzle it with olive oil. "It's my heart's best friend," she'd say, quoting health magazines. But here's the twist: for Clara, that spinach was no friend. It was loaded with vitamin K, a nutrient that helps your blood clot. For someone on warfarin, like Clara, too much vitamin K can counteract the medication, making blood too thick and raising the risk of clots, strokes, or heart attacks. I'll never forget the moment I showed Clara her INR results, a test that measures blood clotting time. Her levels were dangerously low, meaning her blood was clotting too easily. "But how?" she gasped. "I'm eating healthy." I explained that her daily spinach smoothies were flooding her system with vitamin K, throwing her warfarin off balance. It was like pouring water into a car's gas tank. Good intentions, disastrous results. Clara wasn't alone. I once had a patient, Mr. Harold, a 72-year-old veteran, who loved his spinach-heavy smoothies. He ended up in the ER with a mini stroke because no one told him about vitamin K. As the great philosopher Plato once said, "We are twice armed if we fight with faith." Clara's faith in healthy eating was strong, but she needed knowledge to arm her fully. My advice to her and to you is simple: if you're on blood thinners, eat spinach in small, consistent amounts, and always tell your doctor about diet changes. Clara cut her spinach to a small side salad twice a week, and her INR stabilized. Your heart deserves precision, not guesswork. 2 pickled cucumbers, a salty betrayal. Next, Clara's guilty pleasure, pickled cucumbers. She'd crunch on them as a snack, thinking they were a low-calorie win. But here's the shocker: just a few slices of pickles can pack over 1,000 milligrams of sodium, more than 2/3 of the daily limit for seniors. Sodium is a silent assassin for aging hearts, causing water retention that forces your heart to pump harder, raising blood pressure and risking heart failure. Clara's blood pressure had been creeping up, despite her medications. When I asked to see her food diary, there it was: pickles every day, sometimes twice. "They're just cucumbers, Dr. Thomas," she protested. I explained that the brine transforms them into sodium bombs. I shared the story of Mrs. Evelyn, a 78-year-old patient who loved pickles with her sandwiches. Her daily habit led to a hospital stay for early-stage heart failure, her heart strained by the extra fluid. As Maya Angelou wisely said, "When you know better, you do better." Clara swapped her pickles for fresh cucumbers with a splash of apple cider vinegar and herbs. Within weeks, her blood pressure dropped, and she felt lighter, freer. Check your labels, rinse canned goods, and season with herbs your heart will thank you. 3 red chili peppers, a fiery threat to your rhythm. Clara loved a little heat. She'd sprinkle crushed red chili peppers on her eggs or drizzle hot sauce on her greens, a nod to her southern roots. But that fiery kick was doing more than spicing up her meals, it was setting her heart on edge. Red chili peppers contain capsaicin, which triggers your fight or flight response, spiking adrenaline, heart rate, and blood pressure. For a 30-year-old, this might be a thrill. For a 68-year-old with stiffening arteries, it's a dangerous jolt. Clara's fainting spell came after a particularly spicy lunch. Her heart monitor showed irregular rhythms after meals, a sign her cardiovascular system was overstressed. I recalled Mr. Raymond, a 72-year-old firefighter who loved jalapenos. His palpitations stopped when he ditched the heat for milder flavors like turmeric and garlic. As Albert Einstein noted, a person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. Clara wasn't wrong to love flavor, she just needed safer choices. She switched to rosemary and lemon zest, and her heart rhythm steadied. If you crave spice, go gentle, your heart old faithful. For raw garlic, nature's cure turned risky. Clara swore by raw garlic, eating a clove every morning for its heart-healthy benefits. But raw garlic contains allicin, a natural blood thinner that can dangerously amplify medications like aspirin or warfarin, increasing bleeding risks. Clara's low blood pressure and fainting spells were partly due to her garlic habit, which thinned her blood too much alongside her meds. I shared the story of Mrs. Helen, a 76-year-old who fainted because her raw garlic intake clashed with her aspirin. "The greatest wealth is health," said Virgil, "but health demands balance." Clara started roasting her garlic, reducing allicin's potency while keeping its flavor. Her fainting stopped, and she felt steady again. Cook your garlic, and always tell your doctor about natural remedies. 5 raw sprouts, a hidden infection risk. Clara loved sprinkling alfalfa sprouts on her sandwiches, thinking they were a fresh, healthy touch. But raw sprouts thrive in warm, moist conditions, making them breeding grounds for bacteria like E. coli or Listeria. For seniors with weaker immune systems, these can lead to infections like endocarditis, which can attack the heart. I told Clara about George, a 68-year-old who developed a heart infection from contaminated sprouts. It was a wake-up call. As Hippocrates said, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food." But food must be safe. Clara switched to lightly steamed sprouts, keeping the crunch without the risk. Cook your sprouts, it's a small step for big protection. 6 medication interactions, when healthy becomes harmful. Clara's diet was packed with broccoli and kale, which she thought were boosting her health. But these vegetables, high in vitamin K and potassium, can interfere with heart medications, like ACE inhibitors or blood thinners, causing dangerous fluctuations in blood pressure or clotting. I shared the story of Mrs. Diane, whose kale-heavy diet disrupted her beta blockers, causing dizziness. The only way to keep your health is to eat what you don't want, drink what you don't like, and do what you'd rather not, Mark Twain quipped, but it's about balance, not sacrifice. Clara spaced out her greens and worked with her pharmacist, stabilizing her meds. Talk to your doctor about food-drug interactions. 7 raw cabbage, a crunch that weighs heavy. Clara's raw cabbage salads were causing bloating, pressing on her diaphragm and straining her heart. Cruciferous vegetables like cabbage contain FODMAPs, which ferment in aging digestive systems, causing gas and pressure that can worsen heart or lung issues. Mr. Leonard, a 75-year-old patient, had similar issues until he started steaming his cabbage. Clara followed suit, and her chest tightness eased. "Health is not valued till sickness comes," said Thomas Fuller. Clara learned to cook her cabbage, easing her heart's burden. Lightly cook cruciferous veggies for easier digestion. 8 canned vegetables, a sodium sneak attack. Clara relied on canned green beans for convenience, unaware they were loaded with sodium. Just one serving could push her past the daily limit, straining her heart with extra fluid. I told her about Mr. Roy, whose canned veggie habit spiked his blood pressure until he switched to low-sodium options. Clara started rinsing her canned goods and using fresh herbs. Her blood pressure stabilized, and she felt in control. As Benjamin Franklin said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Choose low-sodium or fresh vegetables, and rinse canned ones well. 9. Overdoing healthy veggies, too much of a good thing. Clara's plate was piled with kale, beets, and sweet potatoes, but excess potassium and oxalates were stressing her kidneys and heart. Mr. Franklin, a 79-year-old patient, learned this when his overzealous veggie intake caused fatigue and irregular rhythms. Clara moderated her portions, rotating in gentler veggies like zucchini. Her energy returned, and her heart felt lighter. Moderation in all things, said Terence. Balance your veggies. Your body needs variety, not overload. The turning point, Clara's wake-up call. One evening, Clara called me in a panic. She'd collapsed again, this time at her grandson's birthday party. The ER confirmed a clot had formed, likely due to her spinach-heavy diet throwing off her warfarin. It was her wake-up call. Dr. Thomas, she said, tears in her eyes, I want to be here for my grandkids. Tell me what to do. We rebuilt her diet with heart-friendly vegetables, steamed broccoli, green beans, cooked carrots, zucchini, moderated sweet potatoes, and cooked tomatoes. These were gentle, low sodium, and packed with fiber and antioxidants, working in harmony with her meds. Within 3 months, Clara was a new woman. Her blood pressure was stable, her energy was back, and she was dancing with her grandkids again. The life you have led doesn't need to be the only life you have, said Anna Quinlan. Clara's story proves it's never too late to change. 10 heart-loving vegetables, your new allies. Here's what Clara eats now, and what I recommend for you. Steamed broccoli and green beans, low sodium, high fiber, and easy to digest. They reduce inflammation without meddling with meds. Cooked carrots, beta-carotene rich, they support blood vessels and curb sugar cravings. Zucchini, hydrating, low in oxalates, and great for cholesterol control. Sweet potatoes, in moderation antioxidant packed, they stabilize blood sugar when baked. Cooked tomatoes, lycopene boosts blood vessel health, especially with a touch of olive oil. These foods nourished without overwhelming, giving your heart the gentle support it needs. Clara told me, I feel like my body's working with me again, not against me. That's what I want for you. Final reflection. Your heart still has time. Your heart has beaten over 2 billion times, carrying you through love, loss, and everything in between. Now, it's asking for your wisdom. Clara's near miss taught her and me that food isn't just fuel, it's medicine or poison, depending on how you use it. The greatest healing therapy is friendship and love, said Hubert H. Humphrey. Your heart deserves your love through mindful bites, honest talks with your doctor, and small, steady choices. Clara's back to gardening, laughing with her grandkids, and living fully after 50. You can too. Ask yourself with every meal, is this feeding my heart or fighting it? If you don't know, ask your doctor. You're not alone. You've got a community here at Living Fully After 50. Share one thing you've learned in the comments, and let's support each other. Type 1 if this resonated, 0 if you want more. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories that light the way to a stronger, fuller life. Here's to your heart, your time, and your next wise bite.